In the previous video, I demonstrated how to highlight data in your QuickSight dashboard based on a dollar amount threshold. Today, we'll take it a step further and explore how to highlight cells that exceed a specific percentage growth period over period. In our example, month over month. For instance, we'll highlight all months where sales reps achieved at least 30% growth compared to the previous month. Since this will be a user input parameter, you will have the total flexibility to adjust it, so it's totally up to user again to establish the threshold they want to highlight. Here are the steps we're gonna follow. First, we'll create a parameter and add a control based on it. Next, we'll create a calculated field to compute the period over period percentage change and another calculated field to link our month over month calculation from previous step with the user-defined parameter in step 1, generating the formatting outcome based on the result. Finally, we will apply conditional formatting using the output of the field created in step 4. Let's get to it. First, let's create a parameter called anomaly threshold. Set its type to number and assign a default value that makes sense. In my case, it's going to be 30. Directly from this screen, we can create a control based on this parameter. Control means a visual that user can interact with. Let's click it, name it a threshold, select a slider, and set the minimum value to 0, the maximum to 100, and the step size to 1. The control is now visible at the top of our sheet, but adjusting it doesn't impact our visuals yet. I will make it clear to users that this is a percentage threshold by renaming it here. Now it's time to create the first calculated field that will compute our month over month percentage variance. Click on Create Calculated Field button. If you are not sure whether a specific function exists in QuickSight, you can go to the right-hand side panel, which shows you all available fields, parameters, and functions that can be used in your formula. Here, we can scroll through the available functions or simply start typing the function name. It is very helpful because nobody knows all those functions by heart. I found the period over period percentage different function. After selecting it, you will see a brief explanation of the function together with the syntax, which makes it easier to write your formula. This function requires an aggregate measure, a date field, the period, and optionally an offset. If you are unsure about any parameters, you can click the help link here and learn more. In our case, the aggregate measure is the sum of sales, the date field is accounting period, the period is a month, and the offset is 1 to compare with the previous month. Since this function returns a percentage, we will multiply the result by 100 to align it with the slider values, which range from 1 to 100. Let's add another calculated field, which will connect parameter created in step 1 with the calculated field created in step 3. In this example, we highlight green if the threshold exceeds percentage set by the parameter. That's a simple if-else formula right here. I also like to use round function to round the results of both, since with the percentage and all decimal places, exact equality may never be achieved. The final step is to apply conditional formatting based on the output of the calculated field created in the previous step. Make sure your visual is selected, then navigate to conditional formatting, choose the appropriate column, in our case amount, and base the formatting on the calculated field created in step 4. Next, set your conditional formatting rule according to your definition. That is the formula that we wrote in step 4. For instance, since my output was the string green, I will put this value here and select a green color to highlight those values accordingly. You can see that our slider now works, and you can validate its results by dropping month over month calculated field on visual grid and play with it. I always like to do it at the end of my project to ensure that the formulas I've written are correct and I didn't miss anything.